This is a quick update on the Neepsend area of Sheffield, what's going off. Me, Mark Bannerman, Steve Coates came out to speak to about 300 businesses at the start of the clean air zone. There's very little consultation done with them, and it's basically going to wipe out any businesses around here. And I've noticed a massive change. If you go on the old videos I did on it at the start, you'll see the difference already. Now, yeah, some of the area was run down, but we need modern, clean industry, and just wiping out more and more of our industry is not acceptable. But you'll get a feel for things. And I think that was the old Cannon brewery, and that's going to be more and more flats. We're putting in more and more double yellow lines, and I'm guessing at some stage probably parking meters might come at the side of the road. But it makes it impossible for small businesses to trade. You're coming in on a shift, 6 o'clock shift. There's no decent public transport around here. But I have seen I think it was a video of somebody having the car removed because they were parked where they were going to put double yellow lines. It gives you a feel now. I've seen a massive change. It's more and more people coming in, student type, people that can't afford London or Manchester come to Sheffield as the next port of call. Got the Gardeners Rest there. But all these people who say that our net zero is 1% compared with the rest of the world, yeah, it might be 1% in the UK, but with manufacturing abroad, we're probably producing 2 or 3 times the amount of pollution manufacturing abroad than what we would have done if it had been done in the UK. So that 1% pollution or CO2 that we create is probably more like 5 or 7% when you consider the number of products we import from China and other places like India. But Sheffield was a clean air zone back in 1959, and CO2 is actually good for the environment. But there was a massive chance to actually modernise our cutlery industry and pump some money into that rather than the universities to create real wealth creating businesses. But I think this is going to be a bus gate of some kind just here. But these 300 or so small businesses in Neepsend, they're going to have the environmental people on them next once more and more people start living around here, because that's what normally happens. But if you look down here or look up here, this road's an absolute massive slope, and you're not going to see many cyclists going up and down that road. So we're now on Burton Road. Just more and more double yellows. I thought Sheffield Council was talking to the businesses about the double yellows, but they seem to have ploughed on relentless. There was a massive petition out against all the double yellows because it was going to kill off all the small businesses around here as well. So I'll put that in the actual description. But the whole dynamic of people walking around here has changed absolutely considerably since the start of the clean air zone. Because it still felt like an industrial area. It doesn't now. It feels studenty, middle class, and I hate to use the word, but woke. Not awake, but woke. But I was told the consultation that was done actually during lockdown, they just stuck a few flyers through people's letterboxes, and then I think there was a one-day open day at Kelham Island, and that's all the consultation there's been on this whole thing. Because we all know that consultation is not really about consultation, it's just what they've got to do by law, and they just push on with their agenda. So what we're doing now is we're at net zero, and what we're doing is we're polluting the rest of the world. As long as it's not happening in our own back garden, and we're importing goods from countries polluting the world, nobody seems bothered. I think there's something at the moment with Starmer where he's doing something that's just going to create more pollution to the rest of the world to achieve our net zero. So we're happy to pollute other countries as long as we're achieving our net zero targets. But CO2 is good for the environment. And I think the latest thing we're being told is Labour's going to do carbon capture, is it, at Newcastle and Liverpool? It's going to cost 22 billion quid. Like I said, CO2 is good for us, it's the other pollution that isn't. That's just showing you that more of the places being shut down, or parking being shut down. Like I said, they're spending £22 billion on carbon capture, but they were just moaning that there was supposed to be a £20 billion deficit, but you're going to spend another 22 billion on carbon capture. You just can't make up this Labour Party. Tories were bad, but what Labour's done in the first 100 days is worse than what the Tories did in 3 terms. And we've got Louise Haigh, the Transport Minister, an MP in Sheffield. She's not got a clue how anybody voted for her in the first place. I do not know. It's just give me an idea around here what's happening with Neepsend. And what I said is you can actually go on the old videos and see what it was like before. Like I said, basically we'll be getting rid of 300 small businesses because they'll not be welcome around here anymore, when we could have been actually boosting manufacturing and some of our heritage. It's just swinging massively already up here. That's where I showed you that cycle path up the hill, up there. But we had a chat with a load of businesses there and did a video. You can actually watch that video. I'll put that in the link as well. So that was Clarence Works, I think, just there. Studio and coffee shop again. But walking through Kelham Island to get here, none of the actual coffee shops seem to be doing that well. We're at 12 o'clock on a Saturday lunchtime. So the turnover of business is extremely high. I think there was some survey done that showed that Sheffield was one of the worst places in the country for a business starting up and then failing. But it's giving you an idea of what's happening in Neepsend. They're just carrying on relentless. They're not really interested in consultation with the small businesses. And they get squeezed out. The environmentalists will be banging on the doors about noise and various other matters that they can use legislation against them. And this is sort of rolling out next to Attercliffe as they start to bring in 1,500 net zero houses. Like I said, yeah, it did need investment, but it needed the right type of investment. We need to create wealth generating businesses in Sheffield. We need to pump some money into our heritage creating businesses. We could produce mass cutlery and various other things and silverware. Probably not at the quality we did once, but we could produce it to compete against China. I just don't see where we're creating wealth in the UK, because we're importing that many goods now. You can see the sun's coming out, so I think I've probably walked around the heart of Neepsend. It's knowing where these places start and stop. I think you get the idea what's going off. And all these people who say, well, I'm not coming in Sheffield city centre, I'm not doing this, they'll roll it out to your community next. This is just the start of what they're doing. As they kill off the remainder of our industry, they've now shut down, I think, some blast furnaces at Port Talbot in Wales. I think they've done the same at Scunthorpe, and they're replacing them with electric arc furnaces. The point is, you do need so many blast furnaces in the UK, because that's the only way you can actually produce raw steel. An electric arc furnace actually only melts down scrap steel. So to actually produce new virgin steel, you actually need blast furnaces. I mean, I worked in the steel industry for 5 years, so I know a little bit about it. I did a 2-week course specifically on furnaces when I was an apprentice. And anybody who says I'm living in the past, well, I was actually in the IT department at HSBC up to 2000. I'd have been a millionaire now if I'd have stayed, but I didn't like the future. I didn't agree with what they were doing to society, the banks, and I could see exactly what was happening from the inside. So that's it, just a quick update from Neepsend. It's horrifying. I'm guessing was born and bred Sheffielders, but the people that's come into our city in the last 20 years will probably be loving it. So if you can like the video, follow the channel and click on notifications for new videos. I'd appreciate that.